The Italians, they build some great cars. They win lots of races. They have made lots of technical achievements, but I think the thing that separates the Italians are the coach builders. They're basically all different, and that's again why you have so many different types of Ferrari, for example. But what a lot of the Italians did, certainly was true at Ferrari, is they basically built the chassis. And once they had that done, then it would go out to one of several Italian coach builders. The Italian cars, you see such a variety of them. This is an excellent example. You look at this car and you can see it's something very special. You're not going to see many other cars like this on the road. And yet it's beautifully proportioned. It's purpose-built to do the high performance and racing that these cars do, and I just thought this is a very nice example. The French have done some wonderful things too, and this Delage here is a good example. In many cases, they're basically one-offs, so I find them infinitely fascinating and interesting. To me, these Cadillacs are certainly a symbol of the Detroit Iron Age. Most of the cars like this wouldn't fit in modern day parking spaces, right? I don't think they'll probably never build cars this big again. But in this day, they built a lot of these Cadillacs, and it was the same with the Chevys and the Fords and all. I mean, there's some beautiful cars, but they built thousands of them. And so we have lots of nice examples. This one has been modified, and you'd probably say, well, they modified it, they screwed up a nice original Cadillac. Well, I suppose you could say they did. Hey, it's Elvis Presley's car, right? So when you have a car that's been modified for a special purpose or a special personality or purpose, you leave it that way. The Italians had all these wonderful coach builders, and they were given carte blanche to do their own thing, and they came up with all the great variety and differences among the cars. Well, the same is basically true at Duesenberg. The Duesenberg, they built the bare chassis, and then they were farmed out to various coach builders, and the owner could have whatever kind of a body he wanted on that car. But the Duesenbergs are wonderful cars, not just from the standpoint of performance, and I'm talking pre-war performance, because you take a car out like this and it goes, but no comparison with the way a modern automobile would accelerate or handle. So these handled very well for the day, and they're very popular cars, and they're interesting to look at because, again, large differences because they were sent out to various coach builders. We're going to stop here at the Gullwing, one of the most popular collector cars. They built quite a few of them, but I guess you have to admit they did it right because they have a very unique look. You can't mistake this car coming down the road. You see it, there's the Gullwing. And so they have a very unique look. Of course, this was revolutionary in its time. A couple other marques have used that since then, and the tilt steering wheel. And of course, as most of the German cars built to German perfection, very good cars, win lots of races. Wonderful to find a big open road and have great fun with them. The only thing is, when you'll see an owner out with a car like this, it'll often have the Gullwings open because they get very, very warm inside. Truly wonderful cars, and I wanted to stop because, like I say, they made a lot of them, but it's not really an ordinary car. It's got a very unique look to it, and they didn't make that many that it hasn't kept the price up. They're very highly valued and getting difficult to get. People get them, they'll want to sell them. To me, the great pre-war cars, American cars, the ones that people tend to think about when you're talking about the highway cruisers, are the Duesenbergs and the Packards. And there were lots of other great marques. But I think whether you would put them at the top or scattered among maybe the top 10, Packards and Duesenbergs are always going to be highly regarded. We have classes for both at Pebble Beach and many other shows because they were the hallmark of the day. I like smaller cars, and this is a huge car, but yet it's a two-door coupe, so I think it's a pretty neat automobile. And they do go down the road real well. And we'll pass by the Tucker. Has a unique niche in history. You've probably seen the movie. Been a couple of them done on Preston Tucker and his automobile. Very revolutionary for the time. Had lots of things that hadn't been seen on automobiles before. He just wasn't able to make it to a full production schedule. But very unique, and of course, with these unique characteristics, a collector car for sure. The Squire. Now this is my kind of car. I mentioned that I'm a lifelong motorcycle rider, and as a result I like the open short wheelbase cars. Well, this is a short wheelbase open car that I think is just a lovely automobile. And again, it's an example of a very rare mark, Squire. Who's seen a Squire before? Probably not many. We rarely see a Squire at the show. There just weren't that many of them made. But they are beautiful cars, and this is a very nice example. And you can see the lines. I mean, I think this is just a beautiful little car. What you want in a true classic is a sense of proportion, and so you really have to walk around the car. You look at it from different angles, and I would say this little fella passes the test. It's just a beauty. So again, an example of a one-off. So in the collector field, you're going to see a lot of one-off speciales. But I also, as I already said, there are lots of marques and manufacturers that produce cars in larger numbers. They're all part of the history. And we're not going to be able to save all of them. And for those who would argue, say, well, they're all collector cars, of course they'll have a guardian. Well, no, they won't, because the world can't save everything. Don't we wish we could save everything? But as an example, I said, when's the last time you saw a Roman chariot? You know, lots of them way back when. How often do you see horse-drawn carriages? There are millions of them. And you had your custom-made horse-drawn carriages and those sorts of things along the way too, and they're beautiful. And there's a few of them in the museums, and they're nice to see, but only the best of the best remain. There will be champions for the cars that we're talking about. And there will be Gullwing Mercedes that are preserved. There will be Cadillacs that are preserved, but not all of them. There's just not enough space. There aren't enough people. So that's why I guess I preach the way I do, because we've got to be able to save at least the best of these wonderful automobiles. And guys like me are going to be gone. We're going to have to rely upon you folks, who obviously have some interest in automobiles. You wouldn't be here. But I sincerely hope a number of you will go on. I mean, it's a wonderful hobby. There are lots of ups and downs in the world, but the car world's been pretty darn good to those of us that are in it, I think. So I hope you'll come and join us. Thank you again.